Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Wednesday, the 6th of September. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Alright, we've got a bit of a bumper video because I've got quite a few announcements. There are changes happening on the channel. I'd say probably the most significant changes I've done since I started. So in terms of how I'm recording the stats from today going forward, how I'm putting together staking plans, criteria of horses, and it will also to a degree impact regularity of video of the channel as well. So quite a lot to kind of go through, but they're all kind of, it's all a culmination of lots of different thoughts and musings over the last few months. Things I've been thinking about, and I've just decided let's just do it all in a wanna. I was trying to wait for a nice neat time to, and it's like I just feel like the channel needs to evolve, and I make little tiny changes all the way along, and now's the time to make a few more significant ones. Fundamentally, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still going to put a bunch of videos out every week. I'm still going to find value in the betting market. That's what I'm looking for. So the big prices, there's going to be multiple bets on most days. Fundamentally, that's the same, all right? But there will be some changes of other things. And some of it's linked to like Sky Bet accounts, that kind of stuff. And some of it's just around, just want to tighten up some of the things I've been doing for the channel. And also there's a part of it that streamlining my processes a little bit so I can get things done a little bit quicker, and therefore not be producing content so late into the early hours. That's also a factor. So all of that to come. I've got Wednesday's bets. It is a round figure of £25, stake and a quarter, but also within the changes, that's another thing we'll talk about the £5 increment thing will be a thing of the past. Today's selections for Wednesday have just happened to round up to £25. But yes, it won't. I'm not going to rigidly stick to £5 increments, so it will still be within the range of maximum £40, maximum 8 bets. That's the same. Minimum actually might end up being £2, not £5, and we'll get into that. So I think I've got to go through Saturday's racing because that's the last time I did a video. I didn't do any tips on Sunday. Monday I had 3 in the comments. 1 placed for everybody, 1 placed for Sky only, and 1 was a duffer. It came last. And then there was 1 tip on for Tuesday, and that was no good. That was basically that's the comments done. I mentioned on the golf as well that it petered out really. Paratori looked like he was going to get possibly framing, then didn't in the end. So we've got nothing back on the golf, and no golf this week. I didn't like the look of the Irish Open, so I've left golf. No golf. Just horses, focused on horses this week. So I'll go through the review of Saturday. Then I'm going to go through Wednesday's selections, noting that you'll see some changes in the betting plan. And then I'll go through, for those of you who are more avid viewers, I'll go through what all the changes are and what the implications are, as well as go through all the tips the league stuff. So Saturday, I got it as 25 on, 22.25 back. Another Saturday, I don't know how many we've had this year particularly, start well and then just don't finish off. I don't know what it is about the earlier races. It seems to go better than the later races. That's how it feels, but I have no statistical evidence to back that up with. But I can't find the papers, but bet 1, we had single for everybody on the lucky, and a place double if you were Sky betting. So that was Revich, and then Gustav Grave was the other one. Bet 2 started off nicely. We had Percy's Lad, and then Everrock, which placed for Sky, 365 and Paddy, but then couldn't get anything with it. The combo double bet I was really happy with that in terms of they were my main 2 races. So we had Percy's Lad and Revich with a dot going on to a non-runner, Everrock, Siesta Beach, and 2 dots. So it was a double money return on that. And then I think bet 4 was the Irish bet no good, and bet 5 was a Trixie with 1 placed horse, which meant no return. So the channel I think finished down about 23, but I know most people are probably more on the kind of the 45 mark. I think it wasn't a good week. It wasn't absolutely atrocious. We had worse weeks, but it wasn't a good week. So I think that puts us behind for... Is it behind for September? I can't... Hang on. Let me see if I can tell you. No, it's gone. Can't find it. It'll be in the stats. All my stats, if you haven't ever realised, they are all in the description of the video. But yeah, there's not much difference in September. I seem to have in my head 17. I think we're down 17. I think maybe for September. Possibly it's the other way, but something in that region. And we're currently on the year, and this is going to be known as the Sky Bet era, drawing a line. £383. So that's how much the channel is up. It's about 10%. But I would reckon the vast majority of that has been as an addition of Sky. So unless you've been using Sky or possibly Betway, I think most people are much more around the break-even mark for following the channel this year. We are lacking a big win. Last year, we only had one big one by this point, and then we got into a period of the all-weather, and we hit a couple of nice ones. So, although we went nowhere near in terms of profit percentage and profit from last year, it was three individual days in the last 4 months that really pushed it. So that will be known as the Sky Bet era. So I will carry on recording statistics for the full year to give a full year, but the way I'm recording statistics going forward is going to be using a different base. So we'll have a full year results, but I should also be tracking the difference of the Sky era to the post Sky era, which is what I'm now into for the channel. So the channel has evolved beyond using Sky Bet for statistics. So that's that. So I will go through Wednesday's bets, then I'll mention the tips to stuff, and then I will go through kind of all the changes for those more dedicated, avid viewers of the channel. I'm just trying to find, I need a little note here, and now I can't find it. There we go. Right. So Wednesday's plan is this, and what you will notice straight away is in the staking plan is one of the changes is I'm no longer going to do lucky bets, as in lucky 15s and lucky 31s. I'll be doing Yankees and Canadians, and the reason for it is so I can be much more specific about the amount of money on singles. So I'm still betting singles on most selections, but it will be tailored to kind of the mathematics that I'm working with. So it might find people. Some people it will annoy them. I know it will. And change annoys. Not everyone loves the same change, do they? So I know it will be. People will think it's a bit fiddly. If you want to just literally take selections and shove them in a lucky 15 or a lucky 31, perfectly fine to do so. I'm just going to make sure I vary the single stake, and in some cases upweight the single stake a little bit more than I have been doing on the selections. So hopefully that makes sense. So singles will be done separately. So 5 bets for Wednesday. Bet 1, this is where we're at with it. So we've got a 5-horse Canadian. So 5-horse. If you want to do lucky 31, you do lucky 31. I've done it like this, so the singles are separate. So 5 horses, 140 Bath, tennis court 14s, unraced 2-year-old, really good breeding. It's a decent betting heat because got an odds on favourite, 2 next ones that are okay horses. That's the horse with bags loads more potential, definitely worth taking at that price. So tennis court's in 14-1. 205 Southwell, Soames Forsyth 16-1. 440 Gowran Park, Lizabetta at 20s. 515 Gowran Park, Rurkar 16s, and 740 Cork, Koalabula. I mean, literally, I'm picking some names in here, aren't I? 50-1. So we've got a 10p each way Canadians. That's a £5.20 bet. So it's 10p each way on the 26 combinations. Some bookies call it Canadians, some call it Super Yankees. Depends on where you are. Either is valid if you're betting in a shop, but Canadian or Super Yankee. And then what I've got is no single on tennis court, and then 3 25p each way singles on the middle 3, so they're the ones that are circled in the pinky colour, and a 50p each way single on Koala Buddha. That is $7.70 your bet. As always, the advisory is up in the corner, so Sky come out just slightly ahead, and that's because they are 5 on that race. They're offering 5 places on that race. Next best is 365 because they are 3, 4, 5, 5 and 6. So it's only that one place that Sky are better. And then you've got Coral, which are 3, 4, 5, 5 and 5. So you've got one less on that 740. And then Paddy, annoyingly, they're free. They're only 3 on that race, which is not ideal. 5, 5, and they are also 6. That 740 Cork, the really big fielder, Sky 365 and Paddy are all 6 on that. They're the only 3 bookies that are. So those are the horses, those are the prices. And what you've got here that I've added in, these numbers, that's not the number of the horse. I know some people would love me to put in that there. That's not what it is. The number is the kind of the average amount of places for that race, because that's going to be relevant to my statistical recording. So on that race, Sky are winning out on the 5 places. But where I've got these numbers, you've got at least 3 of the major bookies are paying those place terms, at least 3. So if it's got the number there, that means there's 3 bookies paying it. Hopefully that's clear. It's $7.70 your bet. That is bet 1. Okay. Bet 2 is all at Southwell. We've got 205 Southwell, light up our stars at 20s, 425 Code Breaker at 12s, 5 o'clock. We're having a go at the little Kitten's Dream again, 14-1, back at Southwell, 5:30 Lady Nagin, 14-1. It's a 20p each way. Yankee, singles wise, pink circle. The bottom 3 are 50p win singles. So if you are putting this on online, you can literally do your Yankee and do your singles all on the same bet slip. You just need to go into the different boxes and do that. If you can't be faffed about doing that and you want to do it at Lucky 15, you do that. 25p each way single on light up our stars. So 50p wins on the bottom 3, 25p each way on the top 1. That is Sky best on that because of it's the 205. They are 5 places, and that's why. Then you've got 365 or Coral are second best because you'll get Bog and the same place terms as Betfred, Hills, 888, Unibet, Betway. The only real bit of the main ones to avoid is avoid Paddy and Betfair for Southwell. Avoid Paddy, Betfair for Southwell. So you've got there 4, 4, 3 and 4 are your kind of generalised place terms for those races. 640 is the bet. Bet 3. Combination double at Southwell, 205 light up our stars, Soames Forsyth. Going on to the 5:30 Lady Nagin, and I've added in Sun Power at 17-2. 4 times 25p each way doubles. £2 is the bet. Sky best 365 or Coral second best, and then Hills 888, Betfair, Betfred, Unibet, Betway. Don't use Paddy Power for Southwell. That's bet 3. Bet 4 is the other Yankee. I've got the 440 Gowran Park, Hurricane Helen at 50s, 515 Gowran Park, Canodian at 16s, 730 Kempton, Lord's Bridge Girl at 10s, 740 Cork, Rose of Malta 25-1. So it's a 20p each way Yankee for the 4 horses. So that's each way doubles, trebles and fourfold. There's not any, the singles are all there. Bit more complicated than this one. Hopefully clear though. 50p each way single on Hurricane Helen. We've got a 50p win single. Notice the little starry bit there. Lord's Bridge Girl. 50p win single. Lord's Bridge Girl. And 2 of 25p each way singles. That's Canodian and Rose of Malta. 365 and Paddy. Same place terms as Sky, but you'll get best price guaranteed in the morning. So 365 and Paddy are your best ones for this bet. Sky third best, Coral fourth best, all the others are much of a muchness. 690 is the bet. And then we've got combination double at Gowran Park, 4:40, Lizabetta and Hurricane Helen going on to the 5:15, Canodian and Rurkahar. All horses are in a Yankee or a Canadian. 4 times 25 each way doubles, £2 is the bet. They're 5 places with the vast majority of bookies. So 365 Paddy, Coral, you'll get best price guaranteed when they go live with that. Coral, it's the night before if they'll let you do combination doubles the night before. And then Sky 888, Betfred, Unibet, Betway. £2 is your bet. So that should take you to a £25 stake to start our week. That is in total 9 races. We're having an interest in 9 races and there's 14 horses in total in the plan. So let me get on to the tipster stuff. Let me find that on my little notes here. I've had so much stuff today. I've literally normally it's all out my head. Today I've got notes to make sure I don't forget stuff. And now I can't even find where I've written the notes. Here we go. Fantasy tips stuff. So I did post it in the comments from the last video, but I know not everyone will have seen it. Overall stats, we had 58 valid entries for this weekend. 24 made profit, that's 41%. That was better than the first week. 26 lost everything, that was 45%. And then we have a kind of our league table. I have to confess, I made one calculation error on there. And I'm very, very grateful. Special shout out, Stephen King. I had a couple of people volunteer to kind of do things for me in the background who emailed me. And Stephen's very kindly knocked together a whole spreadsheet and literally collated all of the stats for the last 2 weeks. I've got my own set of stats. So what I've basically got is Stephen as my barometer. So we've been having a few back and forths about checking calculations and place terms and that kind of stuff. So it's been really, really helpful. I'm so grateful for Stephen to just doing that off his own back and doing that. And I did have other offers for other kind of spreadsheets and stuff that people have used. Stephen's put together something which is really, really helpful. So going forward, I think what will happen is at the moment, we'll probably both keep the stats. We can confer, make sure it's all right. And then any particular weeks where I'm away, then potentially Stephen's stats will be the ones that we'll use. If he's away, then I've just got to trust I've got it right. But what I did make one typo from what I wrote in the comments, and that was Samar Kevin. Don't know if that's how you pronounce your handle, but that's what it was. I put it as 25. I miscalculated. It should have been 20. And that basically meant that overall from week 2, Neil Lindsay was top for week 2, £34. Very well done. Leo 26.50, Mark Dash 25. Then it was James Patterson £23 as 4th place, Mark Dreyfus 5th place £20.20, and then Samar Kevin is 6th place £20. So that's where that was. Overall, after 2 weeks, Neil Lindsay is top of the charts at 34, Leo on 26.50, James Patterson 23, Samar Kevin 21.40, Mark Dreyfus 20.20. That is what I've got. What I'll try to do is maybe publish a fuller breakdown every now and again so people can kind of see where they are. So I know people like to see that. Other interesting stats I've got, 9 people made profit week 1 and week 2. So only 9 people who entered and made profit both weeks, and 10 people who entered weeks 1 and 2 lost everything both weeks. So there's the ultimate lost money club. 10 people lost it both weeks, 9 made profit both weeks. So I'd say pretty good. I would say the stats was better than I thought. But we have gone 2 weeks without any big price winners. Like I think 10s was the biggest we had in the last 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see where we've got weekend days where we've got some big prices going in when people are on them. Because I think Stephen, on the stats he gave me, he flagged to me of all of the 8 races that happened on Saturday, at least 2 people were on each of the winners. So they were all tipped up within the selections. 8 of 8 races, every winner was picked at least 2 times by one of the 58 people participating. We did have a whole bunch of people who were voided, but nowhere near as much as the first week. And the main thing was people not either YouTube doing a funny or them not realising they had to reply to my comment about the tipster to be valid. That was the main thing. There was a couple of calculation things, a couple of people getting races that were in Ireland, not on the television, and a couple of people did get voided because they edited their input, their entry. And if you edit, that's what we said, hard lines. So that was that. So we're back again this Saturday, but well done to everyone who's taking part. And remember, you can join at any point because there are people on minus figures and people on plus figures. So we'll do a shout out each week, we'll do a shout out each month, and then I'll do rolling figures. So you've always got a chance to be a shout out. It doesn't cost anything, it's free to enter, and there's no prize. Super clear. So it's up to you whether you want to have a little interest in the comments and be the top tipster commenter. It's fascinating though. There's a few peeps who never heard from before who are putting in there. So I don't know if they're usually quiet viewers or whether they're people who are like this is an opportunity to get some fame and glory somehow. But Neil's top of the charts and he has been a regular viewer for a very long time. So well done. All right, channel changes. It's the changing time. I know there's going to be people who are going to be running for the hills. Don't change anything. I love it. And there'll be others who'll be like, you should have done this ages ago. This is, you're so outdated in what you're doing. I'm not. There's no jazzy graphics. There's no music. There's still weird plants sat behind me on the windowsill. That's all changing. What I've looked at doing, and for a few reasons. So the kind of the background here is. One thing is Sky Bet. So when I started this at the beginning of January last year, the sort of initial goal was, let's see if people are interested in what I do, because I know what I do is not what most people do, which is I put out multiple bets. And I put out a whole staking plan, and that is not what most people do. And I didn't know whether people would be that, to have the time and the effort to follow the interest or put it all on or whatever, because I know I'm putting out a higher volume of bets, not money wise, but higher volume of bets than anyone else pretty much that I see out there, in terms of, there's people who put out, a Yankee or a Lucky 15, and there's occasionally people who put out 2, but sometimes today 2 Yankees and a Canadian and 2 combination doubles. I'm not seeing someone do that volume. So that was one of the points of difference. I also wanted to make sure that from the get-go everything was super transparent, so I recorded it all into a betting account. The best betting account to use when I started, and still is the case, is Sky Bet, because they're the betting account that pays the most extra places, generally speaking. So you might not get best price guaranteed on multiples. That doesn't matter as much for my selections. I've said many times, best price guaranteed is really useful. Doing what I do and the way that I read the market, there'll always be some drifters in there, but the majority of my horses have shortened, and therefore best price guaranteed is a bonus in some regards to that. But it's not. It wasn't something I was worried about. So I started using the Sky because I want to be super transparent. As long-time viewers know, you can only do what I'm doing for so long before a Sky Bet account gets restricted, and therefore somehow you have to record it in a Sky Bet account when your Sky Bet account that you started with was restricted, and therefore somebody else might need to record that for you in their Sky Bet account, because you wouldn't want to have more than one, and you can't have more than one Sky Bet account in your name. There's only so many people in the world, if you catch my drift. And so there's a longevity thing that ultimately doesn't exist with doing the way that I'm doing the channel. Likewise, as many people have flagged in the last few months, if you've been following along and you've had your Sky Bet account restricted, you can't continue to follow on and get the same returns as the way that I've been recording it on the channel. And that has become, for me, it's become problematic. For some people don't mind because they're still using a Sky Bet account, or I've got new people joining all the time. But I want to make sure I evolve the channel in terms of what I'm doing. So, so from this point, I will no longer be recording the stats in a Sky Bet account. So I will not be taking Sky Bet place terms on my results or Sky Bet places. The slight downside is it does make it a little bit harder to judge Rule 4s, because when I was doing it all through a Sky Bet account, it was super clear. I put the bet on before I did the video, then I got the Rule 4. I still, as you know, people hopefully realise, I bet these horses myself in greater number and volume than what you see on the channel. So I will be putting these on, and just know that rule falls vary from bookmaker to bookmaker. So I'll need to try and see if I can make a call on what it was. The simplest way I think to do it is after a horse has been a non-runner, if you use Sky as a good example, usually they still hold on the website and on the app the price the horse was at the point it became a non-runner. If I use that price, I can then calculate what Sky Bet would have done the rule for. And if I've got great discrepancies, because I know I've put it on with X bookmaker or Y bookmaker, and one's saying 20p, one's saying 5p, I can go somewhere in the middle. But yeah, that's one of the little complications. So going forward, I am going to use a basis of what I believe are the best current 10 bookmakers for the channel. So currently I would say there are 10 best bookmakers. Sky is number 1, and then 365 is number 2. Paddy is pretty good. Betway, Unibet have become on the scene. Coral is normally good. Hills on certain days. Betfred occasionally. Betfair in the minority of places. And 888 are kind of solid enough. So those 10 bookmakers, Sky, Paddy, 365, Coral, Hills, Betfred, Betway, Betfair, Unibet and 888. Those 10 are what I'm going to use as my basis. So bear in mind, of major bookmakers, I'm not going anywhere near Ladbrokes or BetVictor, because I don't believe, well, they're not in my top 10 for using online betting. Certainly for what I do in extra places, I would avoid Ladbrokes and BetVictor. So those other 10 are what I'm going to use. So before I do the video, I will look at across like Odds Checker to see what are the odds and the place terms. And so I will use the best price that at least 3 of those 10 bookmakers are paying. So if there's lots of variety, I'll look through it across. If there's a couple of bookmakers stand out on big prices, I won't take that. I'll take the best price that at least 3 of those 10 are paying. And I shall take the place terms that at least 3 of those are paying. So the top 3 place terms, I will go. So example being the 740 at Cork for Wednesday, 3 bookies are paying 6 places currently. I'll take 6 places because there are at least 3 of those 10 paying 6. If there are non-runners and that goes down in one of them to 5, then what I take will become 5, and I can validate everything through Odds Checker on the day that the bets were placed. So that's how I will do it. So hopefully that is clear, and hopefully people can kind of would say that is fair. I'm not trying to hamstring myself by sticking to one bookmaker, because I'd never advise it. I don't advise people, if you actually want to make money, just have one bookmaker account and just use that one. The best way to make money, if you want to do that, is to have multiple accounts and look at the best opportunities. So example being, on my betting plan for Wednesday, this Southwell bet, 365 all day long. 20s, 16s, 20s, 20s. Those are the best prices. That's where I'd be putting the money on. But let's imagine I said I was going to do the channel bet with 365. There are lots of days where, and lots of odds where 365 aren't the best. So I'll take, of those 10, at least 3 bookies will pay the place terms of those 10 bookmakers, and at least 3 bookmakers will need to be paying the odds. I'll try and make sure I look out for anything I think actually it's inhumanly possible to get the place terms and odds I'm saying with any one bookmaker on my bets on the channel. But the key thing here is I will not take best price guaranteed. I'll take the odds there. So if there are any drifters, irrespective of when I put a video out in the, we whether it's the morning or the night time, I'll not be taking best price guaranteed. I won't be taking any bonuses on any bets that some will get. So like Betfred or 365, where you get lucky 15 bonuses for one winner, or lucky 31s. I'm not taking any bonuses. I'm not taking any best price guaranteed, but I will equivalent. So I'm not going to shop around and go, it's the best bookmaker place terms, because that's not really fair. What I'll do is, once I've uploaded the video, I will double check that there hasn't been any price crashing going on whilst I've been uploading the video, so that again I'm not at any advantage. The point being is, If you then follow what I'm doing, and I am up overall, most people who have got the benefit of shopping around all bookmakers, all place terms, should be at least where I am, if not better. If you've got a Sky Bet account, you should always be generally better than what I am. There'll be certain days that's not true, but most days Sky Bet will have the opportunity to become better. So hopefully that makes sense. I appreciate it's long and rambling, and some people don't care. Some people do. So that's what I'm doing for recording stats. Also, what I'm doing is I am being a lot stricter with my selection criteria for the channel. So I've put in place, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but what I would say to you is when I've gone back through all the data over the weekend, and I've gone back through lots of stuff, it's very, very clear to me that as some people would already assume, the astute of you, I do better when the quality of racing is better, and the only exception being is on certain all-weather tracks. I find reading the all-weather form a little bit more straightforward because you've got less variable, because the ground doesn't change to the same extent. Does a little bit, you can get slow ground or whatever, but it doesn't to the same extent. So what that means is I will be being stricter when the quality is low, and I will up my kind of selection process when the quality is better. So I'm talking class 2, class 3 handicaps here, and group class races, and generally speaking 3-year-old upwards races. So that's generally where I'll be looking at. Doesn't mean I'm not going to put any selections for anything else out, but I will upweigh on when the quality is better and on my favoured all-weather tracks, which generally speaking, Kempton, Southwell, Newcastle, Dundalk and Chelmsford. Those are my favoured 5. So what I'm trying to do is tighten up what I'm doing on the channel, so I've got more focus, more energy and more money going down on what I believe to be the best opportunities, and where statistically I've proven that I do better. So better quality and on the all-weather, particularly on the all-weather sort of in that sort of autumn-winter season. So what that means is, on average, I should be putting out less selections than I would have been. So an example being, I know people will look at Wednesday and go, well, you're putting out £25 and there's 5 bets, whatever. It's only 9 races and only 14 selections. Prior to me putting in place what I put in place, there would have been more bets, more money, and more. There would have been more horses. So there'll be certain days where it become really obvious, where I really will it will be pretty cutthroat what I'm doing. So to sort of play into what I'm doing on that, what it also means is the channel schedule, slight alteration, that I'm going to say it's 4 fixed days. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because those are the best 4 opportunity days I have in a calendar week. And then I'll only do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday by exception. So the plan is I would continue to do the videos as I've been doing on those evenings on Saturday morning, and then I'll only do Sunday, Monday or Tuesday by exception. So if I've got the odd 1 or 2 selections, I'll put it in the comments as I have done. What you might find me doing is a little bit more of a super quick video if it's for Sunday, Monday or Tuesday, where it might be a 1-minute video. I say a bit of blurb and I'll say the stuff's in the comments, and it might just be a couple of horses, unless it's a significant Sunday for something, for instance, or taking out like festivals and stuff like Ascot or Cheltenham. That would be different. But on generally speaking, it will be a 4-day permanent schedule unless I'm on holiday, or unless it's absolutely terrible, and then the other 3 days will be ad hoc as and when. And what it does mean I can do that even if I find a bunch of stuff and it's a Monday, I can do a quick video and put some stuff out there if I'm feeling it's hitting the criteria. So generally speaking, there should be less horses. I'm still thinking stake is going to be averaged about £20, but we'll see, and I need to monitor that because the 4 days I'm doing the main videos are the best days. But I would have said that that Wednesdays, if I prior to this week, would have been a solid £30 day for me, I think, and I've got it exactly 25. So that's that. So staking plan. No longer will I do £5 increments. I want to be a bit more precise. If I'm kind of wanting to try and tighten things up, then I don't want to keep sort of boxing myself in where I've got to round it up to a £5. So what it means is I'm going to try and keep the staking plans more simple. So it will only be 20p Yankees. There's not going to be shorty pence, 15 pence, 14 pence and that stuff. It'll just be 20p Yankees, 10p Canadians, 25p combination doubles, and 25p Trixies. And then similarly, if it was a win bet, that would be kind of, rolled it up. So if it's 25p each way, Trixie is what the standard it will be. Standard would be 50p win. So I'm making that so I don't have to spend excess stupid time just trying to basically go, how do I get that to fit £25 when I've actually really want to spend £22.50? That's the point. So it's a slight time saver for me, but it also means it's simpler than people get used to. That's the stake. If it's a Yankee, it's the same stake. Canadian, same stake. There will probably be, I haven't done it for Wednesday, but there'll probably be an increase in additional doubles on some of the bets. I think I'll probably do that. But in terms of for days like where I've already got combination doubles, I won't worry about it. So it means the lowest possible stake for the channel is now £2, not £5. The maximum will stay at 40. The maximum will stay at 8 bets. That will be the same, but it means that the amount that I put on each day will be rounded, or it will be to a 50 pence. So it could be £21.50, £22.50. So yeah, I like the neatness of it rounded to £5, but this way I could be much more specific about what I'm putting on. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just saying anything else on there. I think that's it. I think, I've talked you through about how I'm doing the staking plans. So a tighter criteria. So what it means, and as I alluded in earlier on, the staking plan, the singles, they'll be quite specific. So if you want to carry on just doing it as lucky 15, lucky 31, you absolutely fine, you do that. I'll be putting specific amounts on singles for each horse, or not, as some might be the case maybe. And loosely that's to do with the it's a combination of the value as I see it and the price. So you might find a heftier single goes on a bigger priced horse. And then what I'm going to do is I've drawn up all this criteria over the weekend, and then I'm just going to constantly just review and see if I need to iterate any of my thresholds for certain things. It will probably mean as well there'll be more instances of some of these big field races in Ireland, particularly the big handicaps, where I may not include them where I previously would have done, because I'm going to be tighter on my selection process on races like that. All right, I think that's everything I was going to say. I feel like the plan's like not much different, because people are like, well, it's still round up to £25 today, and you just made it more complicated with extra singles. But I know it will look different on certain days, and I think actually Wednesdays it's just quite a nice opportunity. There's 3 decent handicaps in Ireland, and I've found things I'm happy to go with. And the Southwell meeting's quite good, and Kempton, usually I say quite like it, only found 1 horse. So outside of those 3 Irish handicaps and 5 races on the all-weather, I've only got that 1 horse at Bath. That's the only one I've got, and I didn't have any win bets for today. So that's War and Peace finished. Any questions, any feedback, any thoughts on anything I've said, shove it in the comments. But this is the start of the post Sky Bet era for the Flat Cap Callum channel, and let's hope it's a fruitful one, and we shall monitor the stats and see how we are faring. Thank you very much for listening if you got to the end, and I will be back tomorrow night with much more straightforward review of the day before and Thursday's bets. That's what's coming up for the next vid. Thank you very much. Bye bye.